Just a quick introduction for if some of the folks were not on the meeting last time. I belong to Buffalo Extraction Systems. We are a company based in Arkansas, Bentonville, and we do consulting, end-to-end consulting for equipment, and we make our extraction equipment in India from production scale to pilot scale, a smaller system, maybe from a 5-liter tube to a 100-liter into 3 systems, churning up to, say, 50,000 kgs a day. It's all supercritical fluid extractors. We are researching other models as well. That's that on the introduction side of things. I'll jump into certain slides I laid out. A lot of this material was covered by Cyril, but in the US, we typically see that the kind of cannabis loans people are seeking in states we are working are for recreational dispensaries, for medical dispensaries, for growth operations, for manufacturing facilities, equipment loans and leasing, and business loans. Now, typically, the Banking Act is not clear yet at a federal level. So some of the states have off-track banks and smaller banking financial provide funding at a higher rate. But there are a lot of venture capitalists and HNIs that offer funding. And we've seen that a lot, and I think everybody hears about that. And money moving towards Africa to finance cannabis businesses we can see the frequency and the excitement around that as things become legal because of the kind of cultivation cycles that Africa can offer and the amazing farming experience. This can be a huge win-win. So I won't elaborate further on these as I think Cyril went into the details of each of these. Where we can come in as of great help to new businesses in the cannabis industry is as joint ventures and equipment partners. How that essentially works is we've done a various like new farmers who wanted to get into, say, the cannabis extraction business in our home state, Arkansas. They would contact us and we'd establish a joint venture between themselves and us. So when they're moving from, say, the cultivation part of the chain to the extraction and they want to control a piece of it, we'd help them set up the end-to-end equipment from pre-processing to core extraction to ancillary services and the testing of the final product. In hand, we would get some of our skin in the game as well. So there is a division of risk there where we would walk in as a equity partner between 10 to 20%, depending on the model. We'd obviously take it back to the board, and there are equipment partners would essentially take 100% accountability for successful running of the project, and not just till commissioning, but they would have their own skin in the game till the operation is ongoing and business as usual starts on. There's obviously an option that's usually laid down in the contract if either party wants to walk out of it after n number of years. We've typically seen equipment partners, and once businesses are comfortable, equipment partners would walk out after, say, 5 years or 5 or 7 years of this term. There's yearly profit division and dividend division based on the contract that's established between the parties. I really feel that this kind of a business where it's new, it's in a nascent stage, and if all the stakeholders have some stake and skin in the game there, it could be a win-win situation for the entry-level players, because there's 3 kinds of people we've been seeing who buy equipment. Are the people who have all the funding and the money that's backing them, people who have all the skills that's backing them, but there's a dearth of money, where this model can really be helpful. People who have the money but don't have the skills. So I think in all the 3 cases, they can be a win-win situation doing such joint ventures with stakeholders that want to divide the risk and split the upside, not just the upside, but also the downside if business is not going good. And it also brings in a lot of vested interest from both parties. I can also send some minutes to everybody on the call here today to see how this has typically worked in the US. And I really feel that this model going forward with equipment makers and business growing in Africa could be a good success as a particular equipment financing model where the risk is split between parties. What you should be looking at in your ideal partner if you were to go equipment partners and who have accountability is, I would say, a robust process control, where there is a consistent, parameters that are set up across the board to ensure that the systems are running. There has to be testing, and you should see past results, past customers, maybe send their final product to HPLC labs to test. There should be extended system durability, high performance engineering, minimized downtime. Integrated intelligence we've seen is really out there nowadays. How the HMI control systems are established. There's also augmented reality that's in the game. So say when a new technician walks in, there shouldn't be a need to hire, say, really expensive engineers to run those equipment. It should essentially be augmented reality, which could train uh, uh, any degree holder basically who knows a little bit of technique. An engineer would also be, I would say, overqualified, but these systems should be able to train these people to run the machine full time with just two people on the shop floor. From safety, I would say a GMP certification is key, and I think Doctor, as mentioned, we are going to be talking about that in the coming weeks. Other than that, customization and be able to scale these machines is something you want to look at when you're choosing your right partner. There's many a times when you could buy a smaller machine for, say, with two vessels, and as soon as capacities go up, you could just add more vessels in parallel and make sure that it's scalable. Um, this is a typical supercritical fluid extractor, which is a 100-liter system, and you can easily see how this is GMP certified, and there's a clean area versus the technical area. I just wanted to have the put it on the slide to show everybody a 100-liter system, which we have worked upon in the past. I think that's all I had for from an equipment partner standpoint. If anybody has questions, I'd be happy to take on from there. And yeah.
Right. Thank you very much, Yogesh. As always, I think you hit the right notes, and the information that you share is always very valuable. So we will be able to share these slides, so colleagues here can just maybe reach out, and then we'll do the intro. But do we have any questions here? So what I hear you saying, sorry, go on.
Yes, I'm Gabriel still. Can Mr. Yogesh be able to release his contact also for to follow up when after meeting? Thank you.
I'll do that, sir. Right up.
That's fine. You can share. Yeah. So yeah. So you're already doing these kind of models in the US, and there's then the potential to do it with African partners. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yes, Doctor. We've done, I think, 3 of these, and they've been successful. One is in fact being commissioned very soon. There was a little bit of a delay because of COVID, but I really see that people who want to control the value chain should be getting more stakeholders on, and we've seen success in these models in the past.
Yeah, and that's what we'd like to do. And this goes beyond, let me say, colleagues, this goes beyond cannabis. For all my sins, I'm not a very big fan of the cannabis industry, because again, I think that it's been hyped up too much. And like you always hear me say, let's look at a whole range of other natural products, including cannabis. I know that we have people here who are interested in oils. Nikki would be interested in oils. There are people interested in tea. So this equipment would generally be used across a whole range of natural products sectors, right?
Yes, sir. That's exactly correct. Any of aromatic products, any herbs, any herbal extracts, Ayurvedic extracts. We've done curcumin in the past. We've done some for our bigger, some of our Asian clients. We've done leaf extracts for neem, which is supposed to be herbal medicines, and nowadays, especially from the wellness industry, as we say, moving towards well-being, there's a lot of these herbal extracts that are going to be playing a bigger role in the vitamin and the natural herbal industry going forward. So we are in fact looking at a lot of those in Asia, because there's a lot of handicrop that can be extracted and exported on that end. So absolutely correct. Anything that can be extracted, such models can be worked upon.
Yeah. And I was surprised at the demand for curcumin. I mean, it's crazy. I didn't know that, there was
Yes,
such
sir.
demand for that. Yeah, colleagues, so
Absolutely.
I will feel
Turmeric as well.
Oh, turmeric. Yeah.
Turmeric,
Okay.
for that matter. We've had clients in the UK, and there has been CBD turmeric compositions which are really healthy, and they claim it's the
Okay. I
new thing
wonder
out there.
if we can grow turmeric actually in our regions, but probably more sort of in the equatorial regions, I think. But I mean, these are all ideas, and we are sharing these ideas, so it's great. Colleagues, I'll open up for questions. Are there any questions? You can just unmute yourself and ask questions. Brashad Apekla, do you want to ask questions, or are you okay?
I'm okay, Prof. Thank you very much indeed for the opportunity. The subject that just gone by, I mean, it's very, very interesting for us. By the way, we have an appointment with the gentleman tomorrow. It's a good session tomorrow, so we'll stretch out on that. So we're looking forward to that meeting. As you know, we're very interested in this area, and we're quite advanced with our plans. And so was the foregoing speaker who spoke about on the financing model and so on. Perhaps the last question I can ask the last speaker has to do with, I think my interest would be a lot more on the issue of, the equipment terms and those kind of things. I mean, something breaks down here and backups and those kind of things. I think it's some questions we have to fill. Yeah.
Yes,
I'm chairman of
absolutely. I mean, I take one of those. We actually advise some of our clients. So before we go live, maybe 8 months before that, anybody who you are planning to hire, we'd call them over at a facility, give them end-to-end training. And for the next 10 months or so, depending on the contract, we'd make sure that some of our engineers are on the site for the healthy running of the machine. And thirdly, with the augmented reality and the remote access, 90% of the problems we faced is just about our engineer getting into your system using the internet, like we are on the Zoom call right now, and those can be fixed. Other problems that occur, like with the seals or with the endings or any electricals that are going short or a socket, is the technicians are trained on. We'd have spare parts at the site 365 days to ensure there's no more downtime than maybe a 12 hours maximum.
Yeah. And I think that's a very important thing you're talking about. We always talk about the lack of pharmaceutical skills or pharmaceutical engineers. And now we are also going to be, agriculture engineering is not a very big part of training in the country. So that's why we also talk about how do we build an ecosystem, and until we get to that point where we are actually building an industry, we will not have success stories. So, but I think that's a good observation, Brashad. Yeah. So, colleagues, I have received a presentation from Tepiso. What I would probably do is just maybe show. I won't be able to present it, and I think she's still caught up in the president's speech. Kelani, would you like to say something from the DTI, or is this totally out of your area? I am catching you by surprise.
Yeah, I actually don't have any feedback from the DTI. I've actually joined the meeting a bit late.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't have any feedback.
But maybe just tell us a little bit about your portfolio, because obviously we've got an international audience here, and
Yes,
we're looking for
absolutely.
investors.
So I'm from a division at the DTI. It's called Invest SA.